Okay, so we're about to dive into this super famous, really short poem. And, it's one of those poems we all think we get. But what if I told you it's hiding this powerful code, a code for how to handle our absolutely chaotic modern world?
Yeah, you know these lines, right? They're heavy. They feel totally apocalyptic, like some grim prophecy, you know? A choice between two awful ways for everything to end. But what if that's not what it's about at all? What if this isn't some forecast of global doom, but it's actually a manual for personal resilience? A guide that's been hiding in plain sight for more than 100 years. And to really crack that code, well, we have to start with the man who wrote it.
Because Robert Frost, he wasn't just some guy writing about quiet, snowy woods. No, he was a survivor, a man who truly lived through both the fire and the ice in his own life.
So he wrote this poem back in 1920, right after World War I. But it wasn't just about the world's problems. He was smack in the middle of his own personal storms. For him, this wasn't some abstract philosophical idea. This was real. This was his life.
And I mean, just look at this. This is just a relentless series of tragedies. His father, his mother, his children, his own sister. You have to have felt that searing heat of loss, that absolute chilling cold of grief, to be able to write about destruction with such elegance. He knew these forces inside and out.
But here's the kicker. Frost didn't just write about these forces. He actually engineered the poem itself to be a tool for managing them. It's pretty incredible. Let's dig in and see how he did it.
Okay, so in this hidden code, fire isn't just fire. It's a metaphor for desire. Think of it as what psychologists call eros, that passionate, creative, life-giving drive in all of us. And ice? That stands for hate, or thanatos, that other, equally powerful force of restraint, of setting boundaries, of cooling things down. And the thing is, these two drives are fundamental. They're inside every single one of us.
All right, this is where it gets really, really cool. The poem's structure, its architecture is genius. That tight rhyme scheme, those short, punchy lines, that's not just for show. It is literally engineered to have a direct, calming effect on your brain. It creates this kind of rhythmic, predictable pattern that actually mimics a steady heartbeat, physically slowing down our stress response.
So here's how it works. It's like a three-step process. First, the poem basically gives you permission to feel these huge emotions, to taste desire and know hate. It says, it's okay, these feelings are real. Then, that super strict, predictable structure we just talked about, it imposes order on all that chaos. And what's the result? Well, your brain, specifically your amygdala, that little almond-shaped part that handles fear and emotion, it actually quiets down. It takes all that frantic energy and just organizes it into calm insight.
I mean, that's just a fascinating piece of literary and neurological engineering, right? But, so what? Why does a poem that's over 100 years old actually matter to you and me, right here, right now?
Well, because we are living in an age of extremes. Just think about it. The constant fires of online outrage, the deep freeze of political division. It's everywhere. And Frost's poem, it's like this timeless toolkit for finding some balance, some emotional equanimity in a world that is constantly trying to pull us to one extreme or the other.
I mean, just think about your own inner fire for a second. When it's just burning unchecked, what happens? Burnout, right? Getting sucked into those endless outrage cycles. But what happens when you learn to manage it, to actually channel it with purpose? Suddenly, that exact same energy fuels creativity, real connection, actual productivity. It's all about how you direct that power. And this isn't just a cool idea. You can actually put it into practice. So here's a little challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, just try this. When you feel that heat, that passion or desire, just notice it. Savor it, but don't let it scorch you. And when you feel that chill, that anger or resentment, just observe it. Maybe try to warm it up with a little bit of understanding. The whole game is just redirecting those extremes towards something productive, something generative.
Okay, but we're not done. There's one final, absolutely crucial piece of this code left to unlock, and it all comes down to a single word at the very end of the poem, a word that flips everything we thought this poem was about on its head. So here they are, the last 3 lines. For decades, pretty much everyone has read that final word, suffice, as this grim confirmation. Like, yep, ice would be enough to end us all too. But no, that is not what Robert Frost, the ultimate survivor, meant at all.
See, suffice isn't a prediction of doom. It is a statement of human capacity.
What he's saying is that we have these immense forces inside of us. We have enough fire, we have enough ice to cause total destruction. And here's the twist. If we have the power to destroy, that means we also have the power to create, the power to renew.
And that is the poem's true message. It was never about the end of the world. It's about our capacity to end worlds. You know, ending old habits, old ways of thinking, old versions of ourselves, so we can give birth to wiser ones. The very same tools we can use for destruction are the tools for creation.
So when we finally learn to master our inner fire and ice, we don't get rid of them, we integrate them. That fire of passion, it purifies, it energizes. That ice of restraint, it preserves, it brings clarity. And when you put them together, these two opposing forces, they forge this incredible, unbreakable resilience.
That is the power that we all hold within us, the power to endure, to transform, and to create. We contain both of these wild extremes, and yet, here we are. We have everything we need. It would suffice.